Hello and welcome to Ask a Mechanic. Today we're going to be talking about your first car. Your first car should be like your first romance. It seems like the best thing in the world at the time, but in reality it's the crap you have to get through before you get to something better later on in life. Now, everybody remembers their first car. Mine was a 1989 Fiat Uno 45 Formula with a 903cc engine and a 4-speed gearbox. It did 80 miles an hour once and never quite ran the same again after that, and had gaffer tape on the wheel arches to pass its MOT. However, I'm sure you'll pick something better. So, first thing to consider with your first car is the obvious: it's insurance. Insurance for young drivers is cataclysmically expensive no matter what you buy, so you need to think smart. The obvious is engine size, although it's not always necessarily the case. For instance, 1.2 litre Ford Fiesta, the same to insure as Volvo Estate 1.6 diesel. Now, why would that be? So the answer to that's pretty simple, really. It's all down to statistics. It's all down to how many times in the past that type of vehicle has been in an accident and therefore subject to an insurance claim. It's that straightforward. So you will find that a 5-door, a saloon or estate vehicle is cheaper to insure, generally speaking, than a 3-door. Why would that be? Well, it's because it's cheaper to repair. A 3-door vehicle, almost half of the side of the vehicle is taken up by a welding panel, which is the rear quarter. A 5-door, a saloon or an estate vehicle has much more of the side of the vehicle, which is a door, which is a bolt-on panel. Therefore, labour rates are cheaper and it's easier and cheaper to repair if you are in a shunt. So if at all you can make do with having a 5-door, a saloon or an estate, you will probably find that that version of the vehicle you are looking at is cheaper to insure than the 3-door version. Next thing to look at is road tax or road fund licence. Exactly the same thing. It's a con either way. But unfortunately, it's a cross we all must bear and we all need to pay it. So there are certain vehicles out there which are only £30 a year to tax. A good example of this is the Peugeot 206 with a 1.4 litre HDI engine, which is a turbo diesel. Now this vehicle is £30 a year to tax. It's cheap on insurance because it's a small engine, and it's very, very cheap to run on fuel because, again, it's a small engine that runs on diesel. So that's a very good prospect to have a look at. The next thing to have a look at is consumables like tyres. The bigger your wheels, the bigger your tyres, the more expensive they are. It's quite that simple. The more rubber that goes into making a tyre, the more it's going to cost you to replace it. So for instance, if you put 17-inch alloys on your vehicle, you're not going to get tyres for £26 a corner like you would if you had your 14-inch Steelies on. So it's worth bearing in mind that the vehicle that you buy or what wheels you're going to want to put on it, you also need to calculate the cost of replacing them. And finally, black box. A black box is something these days which almost all young drivers will have to have fitted to their vehicles, at least for the first year of driving while they earn no claims. A black box, quite simply, is a little machine which tells your insurance company how carefully you are driving, and as a result, whether your insurance premium should go up or down. So in order to minimise the temptation to drive like an idiot, the best thing is to get a car which is almost impossible to drive like an idiot. So for your first car, look for something small, look for something cheap, look for something cheap to run, cheap to insure. So after your first year of insurance, as long as you don't drive like an idiot, you'll find that your insurance has come down. You have got a year's no claims bonus, and you can do what you do after your first romance, which is get rid of your first car and look for something better. Bye for now.